Hello again, everyone. This is part two of the video that I wanted to talk to you about completing or at least advancing our knowledge about the reasons why we're so devastated. I hope you have watched the first part, another video with the same title, only says part one, before you're here, so you have at least 7 minutes of information that we just added. This segment is going to talk a little bit more involved, and it is geared toward the two consenting adults of legal age, usually in university, college time and up, where they have broken up and the girlfriend has left, and you feel terrible, devastated. And we're discussing another reason to ponder on that could help us understand why we're so devastated, why you're so devastated, and if you should be. Which of course not, but that's why we're here. So to begin with that, of course, the first video, which was talking about the relationship which did not involve sex, but it broke up, and then we discussed why the partner feels so bad, and we discussed that. But this one includes the relationship that may not have had sex involved, but because it did have sex involved, so both parts apply to this relationship of the two consenting adults that have had sex in the relationship. So, having completed the first video, the second video is talking about couples who had intimacy in their relationship, and again, I'm addressing it to a boy's point of view, and the other relationships, they can switch it around and make sense out of it. So, for addressing this part, we need to go a little bit into some other interests of human being. I believe that each human being at one point or other tries to find out and hopefully learn to become one with his or her own source, creator, and reach a certain level that he can feel he's one with his creator, which I consider that to be the energy of all, and people have different names for it. Some call it nature, some call it universe, some call it God, and Buddhists have their own way, and each religion has their own. But collectively, I believe everything is made out of energy, and ultimately, it is all energy that creates and helps develop and advance whatever else we are experiencing in this lifetime, in this universe. Whether you agree with it or not, that's beside the point, but the fact is we're talking about that a person at one time or another in his life or her life tries to reach out to that energy, to that source, to that what he or she may call God, nature, universe, energy, whatever the name for it is. And different disciplines have different ways to try to get to that level. Buddhists or people of meditation interest, they go in the mountains, or they spend time, hours and days and months and years, often not all the time. They meditate and try to arrive to that level of oneness with the energy. And of course, as you all know, and we discussed in the other videos, our existence in this universe is not just what we are visually seeing. It's not just physical, but it is physical and mental. So there's energy components, energy, Japanese called ki and Chinese called chi, and then there is the physical part of us. I often use the analogy of the iceberg. On the ocean, you see a big portion of an iceberg on the surface of the ocean. But of course, that is not all the iceberg, all there is to the iceberg. A bigger portion of what's visible is underneath the ocean, which is not visible. Same thing, our life is also made out of the physical body, which is similar to the visible segment of an iceberg, and some are bigger, some are smaller, but that's not all there is to us. 1,000 times bigger than what's visible, our physical abilities and power, is inside us, like the invisible part of the iceberg, which is underneath the ocean, and that is our energy, that is our mind, that is mind power, energy power, a key, which the combination of the two describes our life the way we know it. So, in the search of what we just talked about a few minutes ago, each human being may, at one time or another in his life or her life, tries to become one with its source, with his creator. And that being energy, pure energy, then one could say that a human being who is in search of that is trying to have mind and body both exist and not exist at one time or another, to learn how it is to feel just pure energy, no physical presence, or at least awareness of the physical existence, and no awareness of the mental existence, only pure energy with no thoughts of any kind, and no awareness of the physicality, the physical existence. That would be the moment that one would feel nothing and everything. And perhaps that would be the one moment that one could feel or describe that it is similar to having become one with the nature, one with the energy. Now, why am I saying all these things? Maybe something in my tea, that's possible. I wasn't looking. Somebody pour something in it. The reason I'm saying is that we may be in pursuit of that all our life. Different paths. Again, meditation, Buddhists have their own monasteries and constantly trying to get to that level, and some other people through their religious beliefs try to get that. Through praying, they try to get that. While we all forget that all of us, whether we know about the techniques of meditation or focusing on achieving this particular level or not, we actually attain and achieve that on a regular basis, but we miss to recognize it. Now, this is why I said this particular video is for consenting adults and of legal age who can ponder on this and go deep with it and try to see if they can understand what I'm trying to show you. And that is when you actually are involved in an intimacy with your girlfriend. You're having sex. And if you understand, and now think about it, at the time of that level of climax, the orgasm, the ecstasy, the highest level of total surrender, and which at the point there is no conflict, there is no negativity, there is no disorder, there is no thoughts, there is no division, there is no awareness of your physical being, and there is no thoughts awareness of what it is, who you are, where you are. That one very moment, at the top of the climax and at the top of that intimacy, the feeling of oneness and nothingness at the same time is actually what we all try to achieve through sufferings of all these trials and meditations and so on, to achieve all through our life. And often we don't get it as perfect as that very moment in intimacy, climax of the intimacy. Now, it's all going to connect. Just stay with me. So, whether you're aware of it or not, you adore that moment, because that's a moment of total peace, total psychological security, with no need of any sort of anything in the life that you're constantly worried about providing and being secure and having everything and worried about this and that, so forth. But that very moment, there is nothing in this world that you want. You're not even aware of your own physical or existence of any thoughts. You are just energy. You feel that one moment as if universe and you have become one. There is no difference, no division, no nothing. A total, perfect tranquility, oneness with the source, with the nature. As if you have never been born, or as if there's no difference between the source, the creator, and you, one and the same. You can all imagine what I'm saying, that feeling is pretty special, something that we cannot attain through any other exercise. So, when you think about it and you're going through your relationship, you're automatically aware that at this level of, amazing level of peace and tranquility and psychological security is attained by the sexual intimacy with your girlfriend. So you attribute this level to being with her. So that moment of oneness with the nature, with the creator, with the energy, and total perfect psychological security that you need nothing at all in the world, and no worries, no nothing in that moment, no thought, no physical being awareness, is in your mind because of this girl, because of that sexual intimacy with this girl. And you've arrived and achieved that what everybody supposedly trying to achieve in their life, that level of psychological security, through this with her. So you see her as the provider of this highest level of existence or non-existent, achievement or oneness with the nature. You see her as the key to this, which is highly sought after, that stage, by anyone, not because of anything, it's just because they feel that's the highest level of development and psychological security and contentment, security, which we're all after, and in life that's an elusive hunt. Now, when she leaves you, therefore you feel that the godhood has left, because that was the person that you reached oneness or closest possible to your creator, to your entity, to your energy, to your the universal oneness with the universe, with the nature, that energy becoming one and nothing, becoming everything and nothing at the same time. And you cannot reach it any other way, and you think she was the one who brought it to you. So when she leaves, you think that stage of perfection And perfect psychological security is also left. Therefore, you lost the biggest achievement that any human being is hoping to arrive to. That moment of oneness with total surrender and total of not needing anything, becoming perfect, like it's pure energy. Need nothing. After nothing, run after nothing, secure totally and happy. Pleasure, smarts, intelligent, energy, capabilities, everything, and while you don't want anything in that moment. And you consider her to be responsible for that. And when she leaves, you feel God has left, or that feeling of God, that feeling of perfect moment of life has left, which you feel there's no other way I can reach it. That's when you feel you're totally devastated because you think she was the only one that could bring that to you. And you feel totally lost. Because you don't think, you're thinking that you just lost a girlfriend, but in the background, your energy, your intelligence knows that you're really mourning, you're really sad and sorry and devastated because you attribute that, what we just talked about, with her without even knowing that this is why you're so scared or so sad or so devastated. Because inside you knows that that was all because of her. That's what you think. And therefore, you really are mourning for something bigger than the girlfriend, but you think it's just the physical being of the girlfriend. And that's why you become so helpless. But in fact, you should know that same feeling that we just talked about, it's not because of her. It's because of the programming, conditioning, and the way your genes have been put together that you feel that even if you masturbate. That very moment that you feel nothing, no physical appearance or existence, awareness of it, or no thoughts, that happens even if you masturbate. Even if you're with any other mutually consenting sexual relationship with another woman, you still reach the same level. So it's not really specific to her. It wasn't her who brought it. It's the fact that you're programmed to achieve it with any woman. Even if you're not in love with the woman, it's a college time and you just one night stand, you still arrive and achieve to that highest level of what we just talked about. So what I want you to realize is that what you're subconsciously thinking, that you're totally devastated because you've missed something, the only person that could bring you to that ecstasy, to that wonderful feeling of everything and nothingness at the same time, becoming one with the source and the energy and the creator, which we can maybe explain it that way, is not specific to her, is not because of her. You can achieve that even by stimulation, which I'm sure you know, or with any other relationship that you may have with another girlfriend. You may not even be in love with her, but just because you go through this sexual experience, you would arrive to the same level. So this is something that you have in you and you can arrive there. So don't be so devastated to think that she's left me, therefore God has left me. Therefore, that feeling of perfection, psychological security has left me and I can never have it unless I get her back. And then you become totally wacko and devastated. That's not the case. You can have that the same and just as good with another woman, another relationship. And as I mentioned, it's not specific to her and that relationship. It's just the way you are built, and you can arrive to that at any time with the ways that it could be involving another relationship, another woman. So I want you to focus on what I just said and understand when she leaves you, you associate her leaving to not being able to arrive to that level of perfect happiness, the most amazing pleasure that anybody could achieve. And you associate having her leaving with having lost the ability or possibility to get to that level again, which is to you total oneness with the creator, to the energy, to the God, or whatever you want to call it. You don't think of it that way, but it is the only way that one can arrive to that level, which is pretty much the same as becoming one with the nature, becoming one with the energy, becoming one with the creator, whatever that could be for you. I've lost you. So if you think it up and understand that that is not her especially, that is up to you and what you're programmed to do, and you can achieve that psychological security in that moment with really other relationships, then you might understand why this is so important for you to know, so you will not be as devastated as you are. You don't have to be, because life is not gone by her leaving. She's going to another maybe relationship, and you will find another relationship, and everything will be just as fine again later on. And so you don't have to be so devastated thinking that you lost the world, you lost your amazing stage of oneness with the nature, universe, energy, or whatever else you may call it. Okay, hope that would be something for you to think about and understand that you shouldn't really be so scared or devastated, as this should be an answer to your inner thoughts, even though you don't focus on it, a subconscious worry. And now perhaps you have a little bit more experience or information about it to help you calm down and understand nothing big has happened. Everything will be fine. I'll talk to you later.